Welcome to the Manufacturing Money Room with host Tolani Lawson. Tolani is an experienced CFO who works with manufacturing businesses to bring clarity to their numbers, especially when cash feels tight and decisions feel heavy. These are the conversations that usually stay behind closed doors. Until now, it's time to step into the Manufacturing Money Room.
Welcome, and thank you for joining the very first episode of the Manufacturing Money Room. This episode, we're going to be talking about where profit leaks inside growing manufacturing businesses. Let me start with a conversation I've had more times than I can count. Revenue is up, orders are coming in faster than ever, and the shop floor is running flat out. And yet, cash is tight, the stress level is high, and it feels like the business is working harder for less. One owner put it this way to me, and he said, "We're busier than we've ever been. So why does it feel like we're running in place?" That question, that tension, that is where it starts. Today, we're talking about where profit quietly slips away inside growing manufacturing businesses. And it's not because people are not working hard or that, or because the team are careless, but because growth without visibility and discipline will slowly erode returns. And here's the kicker. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like success in the beginning when this starts out. And I'll walk you through an illustration here. We'll take David, right? David runs a $25 million precision engineering business, and revenue is up over the last 3 years. Revenue is up about 30%. So they're investing in new machines, new hires, bigger contracts. And when you look at this business on paper, impressive growth. But when you look closer, you see that gross margin slipped from 32% to 26%. And when you start to look at some of the root cause, you see overtime doubled, inventory was growing faster than sales, and cash is not keeping up. That's where you see that the cash conversion cycle slowed down. And what's the cash conversion cycle? For a manufacturing business, you are spending cash today that will not necessarily come back through the door for a couple of months, a few months, maybe 6 to 9 months down the line. So how closely are we paying attention to that cash conversion cycle? In this case, nobody made a catastrophic mistake. There wasn't one single decision that caused all of this. Instead, it was the accumulation of several small, well-intentioned choices. The quiet erosion that makes growth feel like you're running on a treadmill. And there are little things like quoting assumptions that weren't revisited. You've quoted a customer for months now, or for years in some cases. I've seen customers who haven't requoted in 2 to 3 years or even more. So these are some of the symptoms and some of the issues that start to eat away at your profit. Over time, that became normalized, and there is no question to why there is continuous overtime and inventory buffers that are created just in case, because your salespeople are selling at a huge discount. Sales is coming in, and then your purchasing team is purchasing inventory just in case. So customer exceptions are quietly getting absorbed into the business. This is what I call the illusion of growth. The business is bigger, but it's not structurally stronger. And here's the pattern I see again and again. Profit rarely disappears because of just one mistake, as we said. It leaks when revenue scales faster than discipline, and when complexity increases faster than the cost visibility that you have into your business cost. So when operational pressure grows faster than financial controls, your system is not mature enough to capture that growth. And the gap between growth and structure, that's where profit begins to slip. So in growing manufacturing business, we typically see 4 predictable zones. And I will dig into those 4 zones in this episode and over the next several episodes. And once you know where to look, you can stop it. Now, the first zone is price and discipline. This is where you have outdated cost assumptions in your system. And you have commercial pressure that is eroding contribution. When I say commercial pressure, your salespeople feel the need to sell more. So they start to discount more. And your cost is not meeting those discounts. And before you know it, you've eroded your contributions before production even begins. Then you have your labor and efficiency drift. This is where you've normalized overtime. Setup times are getting stretched because now you have an increased number of orders that have come in at a discount, and the effort level is rising faster than the productivity. And this is where I hear owners starting to say, it feels like my people are working hard. They're doing a lot of overtime, but I don't see it in the result. We are not as productive as we used to be. And then the third part is inventory and purchasing. This is where your working capital expands quietly because no one is paying attention to how much you're buying in inventory. And cash becomes constrained even when your revenue is growing. The fourth is complexity creep. You have more SKUs, you have more exceptions and more variations just because you're trying to meet customer demand. I mean, yes, we want to meet customer demand, but at the same time, how complex have we made this really simple business? So each decision and rationale collectively becomes expensive, and these leaks start to compound silently. Most leadership teams don't notice them until profitability starts to feel fragile. And you look at your books and you can't really, match your expenses anymore. To help you identify which of these zones may be affecting your business, I've created something to go alongside this series. It's called the Manufacturing Profit Leak Diagnostic. And this is a structured 5-part workbook, and it's designed to help you assess where structural strain is forming inside your business. Page 1 mirrors what we've discussed today, and it asks 3 simple questions. Where does growth require disproportionate effort in your business? Which part of the business feels structurally fragile? And if revenue double the next year, what would break first? Those questions alone often reveal the first leak. And over the next 4 pages, we walk through pricing and discipline, labor and efficiency, inventory and purchasing, and that complexity creep that we just spoke about. And these are well-structured prompts you can use individually or with your leadership team. If you would like to download it, the link is in the show notes, so make sure you click on that. Use it as a leadership conversational tool and not necessarily as an audit. The goal here is to create visibility for your leadership team and even below that level. So not blame, because blame does not improve a business. Your business growth should not make your business fragile. Growth should not make your business feel fragile. It should make it stronger. And strength requires structure. So for you to build a well-structured business, you want to have clarity into your business financials. That's the goal here. In the next episode, we'll start right at the front with price and discipline. And because if profit leaves before a job even gets on the shop floor, there is no amount of operational excellence that can fully recover it. And that's why we start with price and discipline. Before you go, take 5 minutes and reflect. Where does profit feel thinner than it should in your business? The answer is often pointing directly at your first leak zone. Download the diagnostic, complete the first page, and come back ready to look at price and discipline with fresh eyes. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for spending time in the Manufacturing Money Room. If this episode gave you something to think about, let us know. Drop Tolani a voice note or leave a comment or a review. And hey, if you like what you heard, share it with your friends. If you didn't like what you heard, share it with your enemies. You'll find the links in the show notes to connect with Tolani, and if you want to watch the episode on YouTube, that's there as well. Join us next time in the Manufacturing Money Room, where it's all about better numbers, better decisions, better manufacturing.